Listen, the way you've started this season, you clearly have tons left in the tank, and we'll get to that in a minute. But you mentioned Kliff, and I think Kliff is an interesting story because Kliff had his run at Texas Tech, and then got an opportunity. Like he was going to be the offensive coordinator at USC. Then out of the blue, got this job to be the head coach in Arizona. And I think a lot of people around the league, well, what the hell is that? How did that happen? And then it got a little humbled. And I think that I think the evolution of Kliff Kingsbury has been an interesting thing from an outsider to watch. So for someone that has played for him as a head coach in the NFL when he was just sort of finding out what the league is all about, and now the things he's doing with you guys in Washington, what have you seen different about Kliff?
I mean, I saw him at the end of his tenure in Arizona. I saw him towards the end when things obviously were starting to get a little rocky. The relationships maybe were starting to fray a little bit. And so for me, I just think seeing him in this environment again, seeing him with Jaden and Marcus and seeing how involved he is with the quarterbacks here, how much fun he's enjoying going to work every day. Kliff is always a grinder. He's in the building at 3:30. He's watching film. He watches pretty much every snap in the league every week. People think he's just this cool guy that is really, really smart, which he is. Don't get me wrong, but he is a grinder. He's in there every day. He exhausts himself in putting his guys in positions to be successful. And I think obviously in hindsight, everyone would do things a little differently their second time around. And I think he's learned a lot from Coach Quinn, the way he's built this thing. And so, yeah, he faced some adversity getting fired from Arizona, but I'm excited for the way he's grown as a coach. I see it every day. His leadership, his communication has improved. So I'm just excited to be around him.
Look, whether it's right or wrong, my lasting image of Kliff as the head coach of Arizona will be that shot of him in his house during the COVID draft. He's 110 degrees outside. He's got the fire pit going. That was on brand for him. No question about it at that time. But if Kliff is a big part of the success for you and the Washington offense, Dan Quinn is the guy that I've really admired for a long time. Obviously, it didn't go the way he wanted in Atlanta. And what I respected most about Dan is that he wanted to get back to being a coach, not a CEO, not a figurehead. He wanted to be a coach. And so he had opportunities to leave Dallas when he was the defensive coordinator. But he chose to stay a little longer to sort of re-find himself. And I think that players really relate to that. And I just want to get your opinions on what Dan has meant to you. Even though he's sort of a defensive-minded guy, what has he meant to you in the way he's approached things as a head coach the second time around?
Oh, man. I love DQ. He is a guy that I never got to work with previously, but I heard such amazing things. And even those don't do it justice how much of an amazing leader of men he truly is. He's the guy that knows exactly the right buttons to push, when to push them. He knows how to hold guys accountable. He knows how to build guys up. And he's just authentic. You see a lot of guys that are kind of one thing in one setting and another in another. But for DQ, he is the same person every day. He is just a guy that guys love playing for, and I can't speak enough good. He's a phenomenal communicator, both to the team and both to the individual. And he's just probably, I can honestly say, I think he's the best leader I've been around, just in that regard, just relating to players, communicating to players, holding guys accountable, creating an environment that guys love coming to work. He's not going to put up with the guys that are just there because they're really talented and they're going to just cut every corner. He wants guys that are going to be there, that are process driven, that are exhausting themselves at being their best. And that's the environment that I love to be in. And so I feel like being in this environment with guys that are just all out for football and all out at exhausting, making the most of their potential, it just makes coming to work every day so much fun.
Yeah, it's nice to see him sort of get an opportunity again. And I think there were a lot of question marks about what was going to happen. Dan, when he goes over there and we have a rookie quarterback, and bang, it just takes off last year. Obviously, the Hail Mary play was unbelievable, and the way you guys progressed through the postseason, going into Detroit, taking care of that game, and then having a chance to be the first rookie quarterback to ever lead a team to the Super Bowl. So it's an amazing out of the gate start for Jaden and his career. Now comes year two and expectations. Right. So you've been a part of these magical runs before. What message are you trying to say to these guys that were sort of new to the process last year? And oh my God, look at this! We did all these things. It's going to be great. What message as a veteran are you saying to these guys? Okay, that was awesome, but the only way that continues if we forget about it completely, basically.
Yeah, I think in some industries, you go on a little break and you kind of just pick up where you left off. In the NFL, that is just not the case. Things get harder. The teams you play get better. The targets on your back get bigger. And the relationships, the chemistry, the trust, you don't just carry that over from one season to the next. You have to earn every single thing, every single day in the NFL. You got to earn your targets. You got to earn your play time. You got to earn your wins. And so I think that is the message. I think that is the message that I've tried to harp particularly, is that, like, when you go out to practice, it's not just going out to practice. You're going out there to earn your spot. You're going out there to audition every single day. And I think a guy like Jaden, the ownership that he's taking over this team, this offense, you see it every day. How much of ownership and accountability he's holding guys to. The standards are the standards, and he's the guy that really guys are looking at now, even though he's only in his second year.
So what are the expectations for you guys this year? Obviously, you got off to the great start. It's a tough spot for you guys going to Green Bay on a short week. Those Thursday games are no fun for the traveling team. Like, it's so rare to see a traveling team come away with a win on a short week like that. So, you look at the schedule coming up. You've got the Raiders, the Falcons, then the Chargers were playing really well, the Bears, and then another division game with the Cowboys. What is the mindset for the Commanders after what happened last year and their expectations for this year?
Yeah, no one really cares, I would say, about last year, the outside expectations. We're going to be our toughest critics. And last week against the Packers just wasn't good enough. We literally had the recipe of we pretty much played into their hands. We got down early. We were down a lot of points early, and we became a little one-dimensional against when you play pass rushers like a Micah Parsons or Rashawn Gary or Van Ness, whatever you want to say. It's just too hard in this league. No matter how talented you are, it's just too hard when you're one-dimensional. And so it was just a tough game for us. But the expectations for us, I said this when we were 8-2 last year. No one's going to remember whether you're 8-2. It's about improving each and every week, so you give your chance the best shot at the end of the season. And so for me, I don't look at really the expectations. My goal every day is to improve. The team's goal every day is to improve. The offense we are today can't be the offense we are in a month from now. And I just think that's the mindset you have to have in this league. If you're just maintaining, if you're complacent with where you're at, it doesn't matter how you start. You've got to continue to improve, and I think that is everyone's mindset in our building.
Well, listen, there's two ways that I think a player looks at the season. How is the team doing, and what am I doing to contribute to their success, right? And what can I do to improve? You're 2 for 2. 2 games, 2 touchdown catches. Can't ask for a much better start from yourself personally.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think I played fine against the Giants. I don't think I played great. A couple plays I'd like to have back. Perhaps started the season, first third down of the season with the false start. So for me, those are the things that I'm extremely hard on myself. The plays that, the touchdowns are fun, obviously, but it's the plays that sit with me personally are the plays that, man, if only I did this a little better, maybe I would have put us in a better position last week against the Giants to win the game. So, it's been great to start off with 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks. Jaden and I feel like are seeing the game extremely similarly, or in a similar way, I should say. And so for me, it's just trying to get better, trying to be better on the perimeter, blocking in space. There's always things after the first couple weeks of the season. It's like, okay, what should I be working on? What should my points of emphasis should be for this next month? And kind of just break it down into quarters of the season. And so we're halfway through quarter 1-1, with a lot of football in front of us. And so, yeah, I'm excited for the season. I really enjoy going to work every day. I love playing the game. So that's what I think about. I don't really necessarily think of the 2 touchdowns. I think of those plays that I can be better for the team.
I think that's fascinating because when I talk to a lot of athletes at the highest level, they remember their failures way more than their successes. Right? And I think as fans, we're like, hey, you did this or you did. But every player that I've ever talked to, they'll tell you about the losses or the mistakes before they'll talk about the wins and the big plays.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the mindset that you have to have. If you're just celebrating the victories, this game is too hard. This stuff is too fleeting that you can just become a roller coaster of if I played great, I'm really happy. If I played poorly, I'm in a bad spot. And that was honestly me a lot early in my career. My faith has changed me a lot in that regard. But it's always just about, I think, as an athlete, as you get older, yeah, the catches are fun, but I don't really remember the catches. I remember the interactions with my teammates, the stories of the practices, and just the continual quest for improvement, because that is the best thing about sports. Is there's literally never been a perfect player. There's never been a baseball player that bats 1,000. Never been a receiver that catches every ball. And so that is the best part about sports, is it is a constant quest for improvement. And you have to fail in order to improve.
You know, it's funny, you're talking about memories. My first memory of you, and I don't know if you'll remember this or not. Right before the draft, you know, we interview a bunch of players.
Oh yeah,
coming out that year, and you came out for the 2013 draft, and everybody was talking about the tight end that year was Tyler Eifert, out of Notre Dame. And I remember interviewing you and said, you know, all we're hearing about is, you know, Tyler Eifert's the best tight end in this draft, and I could tell that you were pissed, right? like that bothered you.
Like me.
Yeah, it bothered you. And I remember asking you, like, that really upset you that people think that way. And you're like, yeah, I think I'm the best tight end in this draft.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's funny when you're going through the draft, everyone makes it seem like the biggest thing where you get drafted is going to define you for the rest of your career. And as you get older, it's just the next thing. And it's big because it's the next thing. And you should do everything you can to get drafted as high as possible, run fast, jump high, whatever it is. But it is literally just the next thing. Once you're in the building, no one really cares where you're drafted. You got to earn it every day in the NFL. And so that tight end class is honestly, in my opinion, one of the best tight end classes ever. Tyler had an amazing career. It was obviously a little shorter just because of injuries, but he was a Pro Bowler. Travis, obviously, in our draft class. Jordan Reed, one of the best tight end. He might be the most talented tight end of all of us. He just got beat up a little bit. And so I think
your Stanford teammate, Levine Toilolo, was also in that draft?
Levine, Jack Doyle went to a Pro Bowl. So I think it's a talented class. Vance McDonald.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's a lot of really talented football players in that class, in my opinion.
It certainly was. But you use that as motivation, though, right? You use that. You use that fuel for your fire.
Yeah, there's always things you're trying to find, the little slights here and there, everything. You can use anything as motivation in life. And so I feel like I'm trying to do everything I can to be the best I can in this season of life, whether it's this year or 2 more years or 3 more years, whatever it is. I just have the mentality that I'm going to give everything I have, and I don't want to walk away with any regrets with, like, man, if only I worked harder, if only I tried a little more, if only I watched more film. That is my biggest fear at this point in my career, that I walked away with, man, if only I gave a little bit more. So that's kind of been my whole mentality throughout this thing, and has driven me to this point.